Welcome to this YCC under-20 mixed game here against MUFAbots against Powerline, the 4-5 game. I'm David Price here with Emmy Fitzgerald. We have started a bit late due to MUFAbots only just turning up, but they are just circling up now. Emmy, what are your initial thoughts on these two teams?
Well, you can see San Diego Powerline taking advantage of a little bit of extra time to get pumped up. KJ Koo, the captain, really rousing the crowd. KJ, a very athletic player out of the San Diego area. He is part of Team Eric, and fun fact, he and I were both part of Team Eric at Layout, playing in beach tournament together. But it should be a fairly evenly matched game. It's the 4 seed versus the 5 seed. Now, seedings, you never know how exactly that's going to go until the play begins. But they, nonetheless, you know, San Diego got here a little bit earlier, but not that much earlier because the youth fields had been mostly on the other side of the complex, so it took a little bit of time to walk over to the showcase fields. But now that the main coverage on the live stream has switched to the youth division, there are more youth teams kind of around where we are.
Yeah, and the conditions here, as you've probably been watching earlier, still very windy, a bit less rain, thank goodness. So I definitely think that potentially the Powerline who got here earlier will benefit from going here earlier. They were practicing throwing when we got here, and I was talking to Emmy and saying, like, I was actually quite impressed with how some of particularly the girls on Powerline were handling the wind in a very competitive way. But now MUFAbots will be pulling to the Powerline, and there's their captain Koo, straight away fielding to Barry. A lovely swing onto this side with Brown. Brown taking a deep shot. Oh, and well defended there by MUFAbots. Now coming back this way with 53, Stewart. Eventually we get it centered. Now both teams have transitioned, one into offense, one into defense. Back again with 53, Stewart. And it looks like Powerline have got a little bit of a zone look here. Oh, and a foul call there. It was a bit of a interesting shot selection, shall we say.
Going into very tight spaces, but looks like the foul will not be contested.
So that's Quattrucci. She wants a reset and finds Stewart. It looks like MUFAbots potentially struggling a little bit with this zone. Another reset with Tan. Tan goes down the middle. Nice find to Pipier. He resets to Wasserman. Fakes the hammer. And there's no double team because number 11 was still in the way, but she does eventually get it now with Quattrucci. Still with Quattrucci. Finds a reset, bit of give and go. Goes high and the disc just floating over the defender. And now we're back with Powerline who go deep straight away. Reeled it in, number 21 there, fantastic read. That's Kendrick Koo taking the first goal for San Diego.
And the zone looked like it was pretty effective that Powerline was putting against MUFAbots. Forced very tight throws, but as soon as they got the turnover, just straight shot right into the end zone.
Yeah, I think it was maybe 3 passes. Very efficient once they got it moving.
And you don't see a lot of times a team on an O point going into a zone look, but they seemed prepared to do so, kind of depending on the conditions. And
yeah, that's quite surprising. You're right, Emmy. I think normally if we're playing the teams I've ever played for, if you ever turn on offense, it's like straight to person defense. But here they took maybe a little bit longer to transition, but I mean MUFAbots didn't really get to the halfway line through that fantastic zone. So maybe we'll see a bit more of that later.
And MUFAbots also throwing into very, very tight spaces. You saw the handlers very close to the disc, and can understand why a team would do that in windy conditions, but sometimes that makes the passes even more difficult as well.
Yeah, I think they always had pressure. All those little jinky little throws. There was always a Powerline player right there. So I think the only time they really looked like they might get through was that through the middle shot that I think it was Kevin Tan took. But now we're back on. MUFAbots having a chance to hold their own offense. So the O-line now out. Nelson now with Brown. Oh no, fantastic inside shot. There the goal for Daniel Landsman, and another break for San Diego, up 3-0.
Calvin Brown recording the assists so far. At least 2 of the 3 points for Powerline have come from the newly graduated senior. What a nice inside low flick. But talk about great chemistry with the read from Landisman, knowing that he needs to be low to catch it.
Yeah, I definitely get a sense that the Powerline team have played a lot together. They trust each other. I mean, just on that point there, number 5, who have already been impressed by, maybe I mean 6, yes, 6, sorry, Molly Schwartz, picking up, getting the disc moving, and within a couple passes there, they've got flow, and they're trusting each other to be in the right place at the right time.
So there looks like a timeout on the field, and for Madison MUFAbots, yes, they're down 3-0 right now, but a lot of it is the mental toughness game. That is really difficult when you show up to a field and you immediately have to change jersey colors. You're really not able to throw around until the game starts. The horn to start the round has already started, and you've barely just shown up. But there are controllables and there are uncontrollables when you talk about the mental toughness game, and you have to focus on what you can control. Can't control what scheduling happened or who has the flip or not or what the weather is, but what can you control right now? And you can see they have some skilled players on their team.
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity for them to then move through it. Powerline just doing a great job of taking advantage of the opportunities given to them.
Yeah, as I said at the beginning of the game, I think it was beneficial for Powerline to be here earlier, essentially.
By maybe 10 minutes at most.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was that much time.
But that's enough, right? I mean, they were, as I said, they were throwing, they were, doing a few little, 3-person drills, some of the basics, just to get themselves used to the field and used to the orientation and the conditions. And MUFAbots have just rushed over, so maybe this is the chance they need, the timeout they need to get themselves back in this game. And follow us, keep watching, and you'll find out. So Powerline with the pull.
And in the round before, Powerline beat Swing Vote 15-5, whereas MUFAbots lost to Seattle 14-5.
Right, okay. So also coming in with a loss is not easy as well. So again, Powerline, again with the zone. It's like some sort of FSU, but again, there's that strike down the middle. I think that's the sort of position that MUFAbots need to be in. And a lovely lefty backhand. This time, they do connect to number 31, Mariana Malin. And that's the first goal, and it's exactly what MUFAbots needed.
And Malin doesn't need to leave her feet for this one. And I think you nailed it, David, that the zone is designed to make it very tricky near the disc, but if you can break through the cup, then it's off to the races. And that lefty backhand is so nice as well.
I can't tell if he's lefty or righty. We'll have to continue watching whether that was his actual throwing side. But yeah, a lovely throw there from Madison MUFAbots.
So the timeout seemed to prove useful for Madison. They are able to answer back.
And you could equally use that mental toughness argument to Powerline now, who, whilst they're up, they have to maintain the sort of consistency and the way in which they're playing. Otherwise, MUFAbots could, equally come back into the game. So it's not easy for both teams.
no lead is ever safe.
No.
Really, until you finish the game. Ultimate is a game of runs, and just stranger things have always happened, but especially this early on.
So Powerline, center to Brown. And it looks like it's his own, but a lot weaker maybe in terms of the force that we saw from Powerline. But we'll see how effective it is more upfield. So Brown and Lindemann playing well together. Sorry, Landsman. Some nice little handler movements here from Powerline. And there we go, they've broken through. Coup. And that's it, that's the point. I didn't even see they moved so quickly. I can't even see who scored it. I think it's number 5.
Yes, Coup got a quick dish to check and see in our guide who's number 5.
I think there's a missed number, potentially. But a fantastically quick goal from Powerline to maintain their lead, 4-1.
And they were able to work it up this near sideline as well. Some give and goes.
Which is the weak side as well, right? The wind is coming towards the screens here.
And so it would make sense that a zone would want to push it over to this side, because then there's not as much space in that area.
But they were confident enough, right? They continued keeping the disc with the handlers, which I think was what that zone was kind of giving them. There was a lot of space in between the force and the next row of players. And so they took exactly what they were given, which is, just good ultimate, really.
Take what they give you, make something of it. So far, Powerline has been able to do that.
And having a look at their roster, there are a lot of, appears to be a lot of family members that play. Maybe rushing a bit too much, getting that disc moving. MUFAbots gets it across the field. And a lovely disc towards this sideline from Makoski. Now with Peterson. She takes a reset to Eriksson. Eriksson goes around with Makoski. Good continuation and well held by Nina Vaccaro. And they're asking whether she's in or out. Oh, and it looks like she was out, but fantastic grab there from Vaccaro.
Regardless of the outcome, that was incredible effort and athleticism on Vaccaro's part. And it's that kind of the habit, muscle memory. The next time she'll catch it in.
You literally stole the words from my mouth there. I was about to say the same. But now Powerline looking for another break. So Lazo to Landerson. And there's Hannah again. Now with 4. Dykes. Good movement there between the players. Oh, and a very tight shot there. That's a very hard throw to make in the same third.
You need a little bit more angle on that disc, but generally a same third huck is not the choice you want to make.
MUFAbots, though, have already moved it very quickly. Now at half. Peterson on this near sideline. Takes a fake, and then the reset with Eriksson. Eriksson wants to get it across the field. Easy reset to Peterson. Gets it straight back into Nelson. Nelson fakes, and then takes on a deep shot. Will it sit in the corner? It looks like he just towed it in. Observer hasn't said anything. And the players now discuss whether number 3, Isaac Wasserman, had control, whether he was in. Oh,
it was very difficult to say.
I can't even tell on that replay. Like
he had some stutter steps at the end, so it is very hard to say, but if they're calling it down, I think they had the better perspective. Our camera, while it has a wonderful lens, it is on the other side of the field.
It was just a bit unfortunate there. I think the players did the best thing to discuss it, and we're now back with Powerline. Oh, and one of the Powerline players has gone down. I think just a trip. This back in. And that's Landersman. Finds a centering pass with Ava Hanna. Ooh, and Landersman almost giving up the disc, but does well to hold on to it. Continues that swing. Straight away getting it back. Landersman fakes and waits. Oh, and well played there by number 22. Ian McCoskey did just enough to off his player and poached in the lane. Now with Eriksson. Centers to Peterson. And still playing this zone power line, who appears. And well taken on a fantastic grab. This time definitely in for Isaac Wasserman of MUFAbots. Now still down, but the score is 4-2.
And Wasserman did a great job keeping that patience in the end zone as the handlers were working it back and forth. That's enough of power position to see that continuation. Unquestionably in this time.
Yeah, and it was a very well placed disc. You could see, I think it was Lauren Hanna was just in between the thrower and the receiver, but she was facing the wrong way in terms of like she was face marking, right? And Peterson did very well to just throw around her and get it, and had the eye contact with his receiver as well.
So, despite getting to a slow start, MUFAbots seeming to find their rhythm a little bit more.
Yeah, I think since they took the timeout, we've just traded it, I believe.
Mm-hmm. But gives a chance for the Powerline O-line to rest a little bit too. It's another benefit of running a zone. It also just slows the game down, typically, forcing more passes.
And in this case, it's been quite an exciting zone, actually. Normally, I would argue, some would argue that zones can be quite boring because, as you say, it slows the game down. But I think both teams have made it exciting. Some nice athletic plays. And now MUFAbots pulling to Powerline. Not quite getting it to the brick, but Brown commanding his offense. There's number 5 again. Sadly, again, we still don't have her name. We'll try and get that at halftime. Now with Landersman. Brown going all the way around. That's a very well placed disc to Koo. Koo offsets to Brown. Koo and Brown just playing together, and we're knocking on the door now. Koo has a few options, but goes all the way around across the field. That's an absolute throwing clinic there to go up 5-2 from Powerline.
And that's a really good job of having the give and go on this near sideline and then shifting all the way over. Because in the meantime, the Madison defense was coming closer and closer in for that trap. But you really have to have a skilled throw to put that so accurately.
Yeah, I think he maybe just, as you say, realized that all the defenders had moved themselves into the nearer half of the field, allowing number 27, Ryan Barry, to just be poached and free.
Barry headed to UC Santa Barbara next year, known for a pretty storied ultimate program.
Looks like 4 of the players here will be going to UCSD next year. And yeah, you're right. I mean, for those of you that can remember I Bleed Black, there's a very famous ultimate film about the men's team. I believe Lisa Caithley is a UCSD graduate, am I right?
UCSB, I believe.
UCSB.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Santa Barbara, San Diego. They're not that far from each other. Both beautiful as well. Very sunny.
In fact, it looks like lots of the players are going to other California-based colleges. I can see Cal Poly, UCLA. Some going to Colorado. It's a bit further field. But. So now MUFAbots seeking another hold. Straight away getting that disc moving. Now with 31. Malin. A lovely down the middle shot to 19. Ranabat. Again, that lefty doing great work, keeping that disc moving. McCoskey Bit high there for Wasserman, but brings it down, takes it into the corner. Looks like that's a goal to me. Number 19, Nico Ranabat. Well, they are discussing, though.
It was a really great toe drag from Ranabat, regardless, but looks like with the discussion, it'll not be in.
So Ranabat gets it tapped in that corner, and this is a hard place to be. But makes it look easy to 22, Ian McCoskey, and a hold for MUFAbot, 5-3.
So MUFAbot, on that point, mostly worked it on the far sideline, so they were able to keep it on the high side. And so much patience on the goal line to be able to convert. And we've talked about storied programs in Santa Barbara and Southern California. Talk about Madison and a very strong ultimate community there from a youth, college, and club level.
Yep. I remember being there last summer with the Eurostars tour, and I was just so, I mean, I'd never been to Madison. I've never really heard of it before, and I was just so surprised at like the community itself is just so big and so much support for all those different levels. And obviously, you know, there are very much storied players like Robin Wiseman and co that do fantastic work.
Absolutely incredible. And I was talking with Robin about the YCC coming up, and she's coached so much. She wasn't able to coach this year, but even on the sideline, we just showed the Noise Club mixed team out of Madison is here competing in the ICC division, but they're on the sideline cheering on their Madison compatriots.
Yeah, it's great to see just the community support.
But they're chanting all D all day. Madison will need some more D to get some breaks to make up the 2-point deficit that they currently have from a little bit of a slow start against Powerline.
I think they're getting there slowly. They've just, I think, as you say, as we've been talking about all through this first half, a bit of a slow start, but now they seem to be in their rhythm, and I'm hoping we'll see some more. Maybe we'll see some more breaks. I'm on break watch.
Love breaks from both teams.
And MUFAbot's pulling. Koo centers to 24. Now with Landersman with a deep shot. 3 passes into Brown. Easy goal for Powerline. Now up 6-3.
Whereas Brown has typically been the thrower, registering at least 2 assists so far in the game. This time, he puts on the hat of receiver and looked like some confusion in the deep space. Landesman just wasting no time.
Yeah, it looks like an easy choice there. I like that metaphor of hats. I wish they were hats. It'd be so much simpler to know what people are going to do. Oh, he's got his receiver hat on. I'm going to play this sort of D.
Exactly.
That would be great. It's a shame that's not true.
You put on the receiver hat if you're a receiver cutter, if you're a cutter. That helps the defense way too much.
That's what I want. That's what I want. As a D player from my current club, I would love that.
You have to make the defense work a little bit harder.
True.
Madison now seemingly able to answer effectively on offense, but now the offensive end zone has been the downwind end zone, so that could be helping both teams also.
Yeah, I think MUFAbots need to step up their D in some way. They did try that zone out, which probably wasn't as effective as they'd have hoped. And I think that was a zone again there, so maybe there in the next point they'll try something different, I would hope. Let their coaches decide.
Looks like they are very much analyzing situations.
Yes, another thing I was very surprised at. I mean, maybe it's just a common thing here. There's there are 4 or 5 coaches per team of both these teams having many coaches. And normally at club level we see 2, maybe 3 max.
Well, and from the youth division, it's helpful to have 2 or 3 coaches to call lines, game plan, but then talk to players individually.
Oh, and a slight miscue there from MUFAbots. And they've coughed up a short field for Powerline. Immediately picking up with Ryan Barry. Finds Lauren Hanna. Again, just to get themselves set, they're playing between themselves, but now a bit more flow with Koo. Koo gets into Hanna, who just keeps on hold of it. Oh, and she punches one in to number 4, Michael Dykes, and that's another break for Powerline. Now up 7 points to 3.
So that was a very crucial break for Powerline to go within 1 of half. But kudos to them for taking advantage of the transition opportunity. They've shown a lot of efficiency on that transition. Once MUFAbots turns it over, they did not give it back.
Yeah, and just to give a quick shout out there to Jacoby Seaborn, right? With a great bid there for MUFAbots. And it looks like they're taking a timeout. I imagine that's MUFAbots as another break they've given up.
So, MUFAbots looking for that chance. And you can see the coaches trying to keep it light in the huddle. And that's that balance, right? You have intensity from a game, but then you also have to stay loose. So crucial. When players play tight, sometimes you call it paralysis by analysis. You think about it too hard. Often coaches say, you know, it's throws and catches. Just go out and play Frisbee.
Yeah. I think that's the great thing about having coaches as well. They can just notice those things that as a player, like, why are we doing all these? You think of all these ridiculous situations you've got yourself into and these scenarios that you can fix with this. And you think it's a simple solution where it actually is just like catching.
It's amazing what catching does in a Frisbee game.
Yeah, tell that to myself and our whole team this weekend.
Yes, because David, you're here in a player capacity.
Yeah. I'm here this time around playing for Fire of London. If any of you have ever heard me commentate before, I've mentioned them a few times. But we were very lucky to be invited here to the US Open. Many of us were actually here in other teams, as in the United States, for Worlds. So a few of us stayed out, and then the rest joined us here this weekend.
And the World Championships were in Cincinnati. The U.S. National Championships coming up this October are in San Diego.
Oh.
And that will be the 50th anniversary of the sport of Ultimate. There'll be lots of festivities and celebrations. Anyone that wants to make the trip to sunny San Diego.
I was about to say, that's going to be hot, surely. That's going to be a hot
It's breezy.
weekend.
It's sunny there, but breezy.
Okay.
It's compared to Texas, of course.
What breeze. So, Powerline again coming out with his own look. And MUFAbots so far keeping the disc moving and managing to maintain possession. Big fake there, but didn't like the option. Number 9, Brower to Peterson. Sorry, Eriksson. Eriksson, lovely inside shot to Nelson. Nelson and Eriksson doing well, playing together. Oh, and that disc just bobbles out of the hands of Nelson. Even for him, a bit too tall.
And it was like a ladder, those little Chinese finger ladders that kept moving down the rungs.
So now Powerline will be looking to take half. Currently with Barry. A bit isolated, but there is a free receiver upfield there. And well found for Schwartz. Back to Barry. Little lefty. Oh, and a nice little toss pass there. Enjoying that reset. Potentially just rushes that continuation throw, giving it back to MUFAbots.
And really good heads-up defense from Seaborn to run through it, get that D right on the goal line.
And a deep shot now. That's Seaborn looking for the double happiness, and he takes it.
Let's give the bookends to Jacob Seaborn. He rushes to get the D on one end, then sprints down to catch the deep look on the other.
A nice little throw there as well from Sebastian Brauer. Perfect placement, especially in this wind. MUFAbots taking their hold.
And that was pretty far past, too. The wind seemed to subside a little bit when that went up. But it's important to display that grit to convert points, especially in this first half. And holds are good. Now Madison needs breaks. San Diego, though, so far showing that they don't need to throw very many passes to be able to get their offensive conversion.
So Powerline will now be coming out on offense, and if they hold, they will take half. MUFAbots will be searching for this first break of the game for them. Pull is up. Fielded. Ooh, just about kept up by Powerline. Now with Brown, and he of course is looking deep. Landesman sprinting, got to get high, and he does, bringing it down emphatically for half.
One-handed snag. Landesman and Brown, quite the connection. It was flip-flopped the last time, Landesman throwing the huck to Brown. This time, look at that follow-through from Brown on the throw.
It's just so well read as well, how high Landesman gets.
It's like he's going up to shoot a layup, but instead catches the disc to take half.
And Emmy, what do you think the story of this half would be?
Well, the slow start from MUFAbots did not help, but the efficiency from San Diego to be able to convert, to get the breaks, that has really been the story to move them 8-4. Both teams have run some zone, but it's being able to convert when it counts. And I mean, it's a 4-goal lead. That's attainable for MUFAbots to narrow the gap. But leading for now, San Diego Powerline is up 8-4 over Madison MUFAbots. We'll be right back.
There is a one observer system, but you almost never want to do it. So this is a supplemental observing. Oh, okay. Like we're not making actions. And so on this one, you just wait in they come to you, or they can't. They can come to me for rule clarification. Oh, okay. They can't come to me for a ruling. Yeah, so the Madison guy he declared himself worst perspective immediately. So, and then it was just the other people that were down there, and they all seemed to think that he was out of control. Yeah, it looked like to me his front foot was also like I think they got there. Save the camera. Nice up with throw. Where are you from? From here. Yeah. Not Surly, one of the off teams. There are so many. Yeah, I mean we have 3 Masters teams. Yeah, that's amazing. We played you guys in Masters or GM? Masters at that time. I got it. How about that? Good. Oh, that's the first shot. That's awesome. Yeah, pretty good, yeah. I didn't know what to do. I had my camera on. No, we're done. Some more gray hair. We've got it.
An exciting first half of Ultimate, the U.S. Open YCC division. Amy Fitzgerald with David Price. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this first half. San Diego Powerline currently leading Madison MUFAbots 8-4.
And welcome back here to Blaine, Minnesota, to the US Open YCC mixed division. Saw those fantastic highlights from the first half of Powerline versus MUFAbots. And definitely looking forward to this second half. Emmy, if you were one of the coaches, let's say the MUFAbots captain, captain, what have you been saying to the team during the halftime break to turn this game around?
I think if I'm the coaching staff, you want to keep everybody loose, but everybody hyped up. Their offense has shown that when they are calm and controlled, they are able to make those conversions. And then on defense, they need to get breaks, and those happen by making plays. So that's leaving your feet, playing really tight. But if you have that big energy, usually one or two of those big highlight plays can spur on the others. And you even see the MUFAbots players really trying to spark that within each other. There's still a full half of Ultimate to be played.
Oh, we've seen comebacks from much bigger deficits, and both these teams have already demonstrated their skill and level of expertise. But they're going to have to do a lot to get through this Powerline team, who now pull. Fantastic pull there from Brown, and the rain has just started, I think, now. But now with number 5, Abby Peterson. Nice inside shot, but Malin just gets behind the Powerline defender and lofts one up. Well taken there by Ranabat. Shoves it in the end zone. And that's that hold that MUFAbots are searching for. Number 23 there, Erica Collin with the goal.
Erica Collin, a 6'1" receiver, and knows where to go to get that spacing.
She's an inch shorter than me.
She's 7 inches taller than me.
She's a tall lady.
But not only height, she knows how to get to that space properly. And what looked like could have been an early turnover from MUFAbots, they are able to, with their head on a swivel, some heads-up plays, and can convert quickly.
Yeah, they did very well once the pass that they thought was going to someone else got to another receiver. They just kept the disc moving, maintained their flow. Easy goal in the other end zone corner. The score now 8-5. And now MUFAbots signaling they're prepared to pull. Not getting it quite as far as Powerline. It's potentially straight out there. And so Powerline able to center the disc at where it went out. A differing rule to one I'm used to. At Wooftuff, you would have to either take it from the sideline or from the brick, which is I quite like this rule. It's quite nice.
I think it makes sense, too, for what happens.
Immediately getting it to Landesman, who's looking deep. A streaking end zone for the number 5. She's playing a fantastic game. I'm also really annoyed that I don't have her name. But a very quick hold there from Powerline, up 9 against MUFAbots 5.
Once again, very few passes for Powerline to convert. And that's the second goal. As this very, very talented player is using her athleticism and spacing. Oh, that's Beeler.
Beeler. We just spotted her name. She's number 17 on our roster, that's why.
She is known as the fastest female on the team, and based on the reception of that goal, I can see why she's been given that moniker.
Yeah, and she was, I mean, the throw and the separation that she had as well were fantastic. It was an obvious option. Well placed by Landesman and well brought down by Beeler.
So Powerline is up by 4. Their team spans from San Diego to northern LA, so that's about a 4-hour difference. A lot of work for practices, supported by Southern California Youth Ultimate, California Ultimate.
So again, Powerline not changing a successful recipe, still playing this zone. Now with Malin on the near sideline. Keeps it in the middle with McCoskey and Nelson. Nelson taking on a deep shot, but the receiver just slipped as the disc went up. So now the disc back with Powerline. Now with Koo. Koo. He's going deep. Both players underneath it. And very well read there by MUFAbots. An emphatic D. It's number 19, Nico Ranabat.
Ranabat had perfect timing to just get enough of a swat on that disc.
And there he is again, Ranabat on the disc. Just keeps hold of it. Able to find McCoskey. McCoskey down the line, but it looks like, oh no, well read there. I thought Koo was going to come and get it, but it wasn't. Kept hold. Oh, but rushes the throw. Nelson not able to get it, and the run through D there for 84, Owen Schaff. Powerline doing really well, keeping that disc now moving. With 27, Ryan Barry. Barry finds a center under pressure. With Dykes, back to Barry. Continues to Koo in that front corner, and that's a break for San Diego Powerline, now up 10-5.
And whereas MUFAbots had a really great block in the end zone, on the same token, the 15-year-old Owen Schaff is able to get it back. And you just see that control in the end zone offense for Koo to register his 3rd or 4th goal of the game.
Very good heads up D then there from Schaff. Nelson just slowing down. Schaff coming straight through. And I feel like the wind has just picked up for a temporary moment. It's been very blustery all day. Like sometimes it'll be nice and static, maybe a bit humid, and then suddenly you just get a gust of wind in your face.
It is Minnesota for you.
Well, when we were here last year, I remember it being sunny. I got sunburn, I think.
It was sunny, but it also did rain for a little bit, but just not as much of an extended period of time. But I think that's part of many reasons why it's so green up here as well, is that, you know, they have a lot of precipitation in the winter, but then in the summer, there's some consistent rain for some part of the day. This weekend just happens to be more parts.
Yeah, I mean, last night the storm was incredible. But we're used to rain, us Brits, so it's fine.
It's true.
We're not not like some people from Colorado. I've heard about Colorado don't practice when it rains.
I cannot speak for that.
That sounds crazy. I mean, well, I'd like it verified, but that sounds crazy. Anyway, MUFAbots taking on a fantastic deep shot. Wind has picked up once. Oh, and a fantastic battle in the air. But 87, Jacoby Seaborn is having a fantastic game. Reels that one in. There's the hold for MUFAbots. Now 10-6.
Seaborn, such an athletic reach. He has to reach behind him to grab it, but does a good job using the hand that is farther away from his defender. Has so much power and athleticism. And MUFAbots is kind of an interesting team name, but MUFA is actually the Madison Ultimate Frisbee Association. And then MUFAbots have kind of a fun logo, you see, that's a robot. Kind of looks like a Yeti and a robot put together.
Oh yeah, it's a bit scary. Oh no, it's good
With
fun.
crab claws as well.
Maybe they have other teams that are like Mufa something. I don't know, like Mufa cows or
MUFAbots.
Mufa pucks.
Like chicken pox.
That is not going to be a good logo, Emmy. I don't think you've thought that one through.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
I have no idea why you're thinking about chicken pox. So let's get back to the game. As MUFAbots pull, and that's a much better pull than the ones going the other way. Probably the downward advantage. The Powerline centers, quite deep receivers here. But Brown coming under. Looking deep and immediately rips one. Lauren underneath it. Perfectly read, front of that end zone. Fantastic goal there from Lauren Hanna. A fantastic shot from Brown. And that is 11 for Powerline, 6 for MUFAbots.
And again, you see that powerful backhand from Brown. Lauren Hanna finding that separation. Manages to keep her eyes on the disc the whole time. Her hat dangling by the ponytail.
I think she did a fantastic job of doing something that a lot of people forget to do, which is whilst running, keeping your head up and your head pivoted like around behind you. It's a very hard skill to get right, so it's fantastic to see it in someone in there.
Especially with the disc coming at an angle.
Yeah, exactly. Great to see from the under 20 division.
So the Hanna sisters have been playing for a long time. They have an older sister who has also played on this team. She is on the sideline, but has graduated out of the program. Now a college student. And on our player sheet, you see a lot of beach ultimate from this Powerline team. In the San Diego area, it's so compact. It's easier to find beach field space than it is grass field space. So the players end up being very skilled in beach. There are beach leagues in Southern California, both LA and San Diego.
I'm going to say I'm a bit jealous of that. We struggle to find space for parks, so.
But there's lots of beach areas to set up and play ultimate.
That's great. Well, lucky them. But now with MUFAbots, really hoping they can keep this disc, and they take a deep shot as well. But Waz is one out the side of the pitch. I think he knows that wasn't his best throw. There may have been a receiver available, but now Powerline will start pretty much on the brick sort of distance on this sideline with Sudame. Sudam finds Bila. She gets across the field to Schwab. Oh, and almost gives it up, but Lazo does well. Centers, now at halfway. And here we go, Lazerman is underneath it. Very hard to read, but well boxed there. But guess who? Jacoby Seaborn having a fantastic game on both ends of the field.
Seaborn is so skilled in that deep space on either side of the disc. And I liked the high release idea and put, but Seaborn had really good positioning.
Here we have Seaborn again on the disc. Another poachy set from Powerline. Ooh, just finds it. Number 22, McCoskey. As the wind does pick up, he still takes on a shot. Defended once and then twice. Somehow caught by number 4, Michael Dykes. Again goes with this high backhand. 3 MUFAbots against 1. Powerline reeled in by Schwartz. Takes the reset to Lazo. Now we have all the players just about got through. Lazo finds 24, Sudam. Back to Lazo. And we're now in the red zone. Gets around to Schwab. Continues to Lazo. We're almost going to get this goal. We just need to keep the disc moving on. Lazo wasn't expecting it, just fell off his hand.
Just bounced off of Lazo's shoulders.
So Wasserman picks up. And this is Coffin corner, but he gets it across the field. Number 2 there, Paige Olsen taking her time with Seaborn now in the middle. Back to Wasserman. Wasserman looking for Seaborn. But well read there by number 19, Nina Runabat. And there we go, our man, Seaborn with the goal. Now 11-7.
Seaborn gets a block in that point and then also gets the score. But really credit to both teams to really watching the disc as it has really high angles. It's almost like those maximum time aloft passes that people throw to themselves. You have to know where the disc is going to end up and place yourself there. And both teams converted well on that. It was MUFAbots, though, that ended up closer to the end zone and registered the goal.
Yeah, they did well there to back each other up. Runabout there, sweeping up the high angle disc like Emmy was talking about there. So with only 40 minutes left, Powerline will be hoping to finish this game with the remaining potentially 4, but if they trade, 8 points.
And an exciting game for both teams, and I think they've done a good job taking advantage. That pole went up and there was a bird flying across the field, nearly collided with the disc in the pole.
I don't think I've ever seen a pull hit a bird, so that'd be incredible.
It was really close.
But now with Powerline and Lauren Hanna in the middle. Big fake from 27, Ryan Barry, resets to Hanna. This is good flow, but there's a pick upfield. I think they're saying that that was the one pass after the pick, so it stays with Barry. Barry does find Landesman. Landesman goes down the line to Hanna, well reeled in. Not an easy catch, that. Now with 25, go. Good pickup from Landesman. It's all the way around, and a fantastic pickup by Hanna. And that disc was really going to hit the deck if she didn't bid.
She read that so well. There was a pick call, but it didn't affect that catch.
I mean, if she dropped it, there would have been a turn there, right?
Yes. Which is different from whiff diff rules.
Yeah, I'm learning. Hanna takes that reset to Landesman. Another pick call. So maybe some of the players getting a bit tired. Allowing, well, spreading out or being too tight maybe, and therefore allowing picks to occur. Back with Landesman, who's very much isolated right now. He wants a reset, has one. Oh, somehow does find its way to Hanna. Straight away continues. Now a lot of give and go with Go. And Hanna having a fantastic point, the two sisters. Landesman. Lasman around. Oh, and it just comes off the hand there of Go.
Go had probably 2 fingers on it. I think if he had 1 more finger, then he would have been able to keep that disc.
So MUFAbots with their first chance to break in this half, I believe. Taking on a deep shot. But just out of the reach there of number 12. Tenley Abbott and Landesman looking for this quick movement, so gets the disc moving with Hanna. They play with each other and almost messed that up. Landesman now slows it down. A lovely inside shot for one of the sisters. Good hold there. Gets it to her sister. Now with Go. Go with a deep shot. And well read there by the MUFAbot 42, Kevin Tan.
Kevin Tan was there. And again, it's just really good timing. That's textbook defense in the deep space.
So yet again, MUFAbots have a chance with Nelson. Now 9, Brower. Brower doesn't like Nelson's up the line cut. This is now fairly isolated, but does have a reset with Tan. Tan's throw really low, but well picked up by Malin. The inside shot to 53, Stewart. Stewart wants to go down the middle, but has to get it to Brower. Bit of give and go, back to Brower. Ooh, and the disc just out of the reach of the, a lovely bid, but just out of that reach there for I can't see the number, sorry, 12.
It was Tenley Abbott, and she had a great heads-up play because she wasn't the initial receiver. Valiant second attempt.
Oh, very good down the line cut from Landersman, striking into that power position. Goes to Hannah, she bids. And I think she's in for a fantastic read and a great bid. That's now 12-7 for Powerline.
Amazing shot. First Landesman with that beautiful up the line cut. And then how about Lauren Hannah? It looked like she almost even slid into a parent taping the game off the side.
But it's great to see that trust as well. Landersman, doesn't matter who they are, what they're doing, she was free, put it into space and trust that she'll make a play, and what play she made to ensure that the Powerline take that goal.
And, you know, we could be seeing some benefit of playing a lot of beach ultimate as well, as these players are very comfortable laying out and leaving their feet and getting that full extension, whereas in the sand, they have more resistance against them.
Yeah, true. It's also, having played on these fields this weekend, they're very well, what's the word? They're very well irrigated, and they are very soft actually. When you bid, it's just like a cushion basically below your feet, and that's probably one of the reasons that the tower here fell over in the evening last night.
This area, it's so well irrigated. Underneath is not the ground. It actually, there's sod, and it's a level that water rushes through and then drains into a viaduct system. So if you jump up and down, it sounds a little bit hollow because there's space underneath, but that's easier on the joints as well when you bid.
Yeah, you can definitely get a sense of that having played here. The Powerline pull going out. And actually, when I think back, I don't think we've seen many Powerline pulls going out. I think this is maybe the second pull of the whole game that's been out, which is very impressive at this level. But Eriksson will pick up, taking it from the brick. And again, Powerline have this poachy zone set, but this time MUFAbots have got it moving down the middle much quicker. Now with Eriksson once more. And I love that shot across the field there to Wasserman. Wasserman with a deep shot, but very well defended. The girl there definitely had to pull out for possibly a fear of the play coming in. So Powerline looking for another break in this half, and Bieler, a fantastic high release. And a knifey shot there from Powerline. Couldn't keep the disc in Powerline's hands, so MUFAbots trying to storm back down this field. Now with 3. Isaac Wasserman. He wanted to go down and around, but unable to be reeled in by the MUFAbots receiver. And Schwab will pick up. Disc is in. Oh, and Lazo under a lot of pressure. I think he's called a foul.
because he caught it, but it's still worth calling a foul just so you can get up and readjust.
And takes a fantastic inside shot to Cloutier. Cloutier gets it into the end zone. Can't see who received it, but fantastic. Another fantastic break there for Powerline.
That was Molly Schwartz who caught that. She competed in a triathlon last weekend.
What?
And is now out here competing in a multi-day tournament.
Good for her. Great. And there, fantastic goal as well. So getting herself on the stat sheet. The score is now 13-7. And I might start to say that this lead is a little bit unsurmountable at this late stage in the game. I didn't hear the hooter, but it looks like time has run out.
I don't think that we are to soft cap yet, so. So it's still a game to 15.
Yeah, that's my apologies. It seems like the clock on the screen is not quite right. So we still have time, and yep, it's still a game to 15.
So Powerline is within 2, and at the beginning of the game, they were really working through mainly 2 or 3 people, and I was curious to see if they were able to find that depth. But as the game has gone on, they have found other receivers, which will prove successful as they go far along in the tournament.
So MUFAbot will really want to go seek this hold, and so far they've got it through to the past halfway. Nelson looking for, oh, that was really unfortunate. A sneaky find there for Brower, but he couldn't quite get hold of it. The pressure from Koo just putting him off.
And those are the types of errors that you hate to see, but also it's critical for players to have a really, really short memory when that happens. If MUFAbots can get the disc back, they're in very favorable field position to score, but they need to prevent a lot of additional yardage.
Yeah, and from what we're seeing now, Powerline are doing really well at keeping that disc moving. It doesn't really look like anyone is a particular handler or receiver. They're all comfortable with it. And now with Koo, and he goes deep. Schaff. Oh, and he just turned his shoulders and it made it a bit harder for him to read. Did get a hand to it though. Oh, and Hannah almost got that D off Brower. Now with 11, Quattrucci. Quattrucci tries to thread the needle, but Powerline doing a fantastic job blocking that. I think that was Hannah.
She just stuck a hand out there, but that was all that she needed in a really tight space.
So Barry will pick up. Barry goes to the middle to Koo. Continues to Schaff. Now with Go. Go down the line to Hannah. Keeps it in and takes it high. Hannah around the back. Doesn't like the continue, but goes down the line and a fantastic layout. Deeb, looks like there's a call. No, no call. And that's a turnover. A great block there from number 19, Nico Ranabat.
Ranabat doing a good job with his matchups today.
And then we see a replay of it again.
And Koo was coming straight to the disc, but it was far enough out that it gave Ranabat a good line to get there. A little bit of quad stretching at the disc.
Yeah, getting quite late in the game now. They're probably getting a bit tired. But really need to keep on holding this disc as they push one deep. Koo getting high there and reading it very well.
KJ was exactly where he needed to be to get that. But also kudos to MUFAbots to know that if we are going to put it, it needs to be on that end of the field. They did have a really tall receiver. It was just a little bit short to get there. And Powerline calls a timeout. It was kind of turning into a bit of a long point.
Yeah, I think that's a good call by Powerline. Lots of turns, potentially tied heads. People just want to take a breath, take some water on, or water on, and just ensure that they get this break. I mean, if they take this point, they'd be up 14-7, and that's a very hard place to come back from.
It most definitely is, but you know, really kudos to both teams for working really hard and not giving up. It's easy when you're up and when you're trailing a lot to get complacent, to say, oh, well, whatever, we can't do this. And MUFAbots, they're still taking the shots. They are laying out for those Ds. They're making the plays when they need to, and that tires out a San Diego O-line to where they need to take a timeout to reset, regroup, smart on their part as well. But throughout this whole game, we've not seen Powerline really let up on the gas at all.
Yeah, I think that's very much kudos to Powerline. They only had a couple breaks the first half, but then have taken more off of MUFAbots this second half, and you know, they've just stayed focused and in the game. So now coming out of the timeout, Koo will pick up, marked by Nelson. Koo finds Go. Centers to Barry, back to Koo. And they're doing a good job of isolating players, but I think you could see there Koo asking for people to get involved. So in comes Hannah. Back to Koo. Go has gone. Go is getting it. Koo has put it. It's up high, but Nelson, sorry, not Nelson. That was McCoskey. Does well to catch up from behind Go and just uses his height advantage.
The float on that disc was a gift for McCloskey to get there and get the D. Go had steps, but he had to slow up a little bit because of the float there.
So now with Peterson, she gets it across to Nelson. Oh, and a very great heads up D there. 76, Jacqueline Rusher taps it around the MUFAbots player. That's a fantastic bit of defense.
Jacqueline Rusher, a 15-year-old freshman on the team. Just amazing, the calm and composure.
Oh, and a super placement there from Hannah into Koo. Well played there, Powerline, to take another break, 14-7.
And so you see players like Koo scoring, and that's who's on the stat sheet, but it does take the work and precision from every single member of the team. You have Rusher, who forces that turnover to give Powerline this opportunity to get the score.
And that throw as well from Hannah, absolutely perfectly placed. Couldn't ask for more.
No, the execution is going so well. You see the Hannah twins, just a strong, formidable force for this Powerline team. The team staying very loose as well, which is always wonderful.
So now MUFAbots have really got themselves stuck in a bit of a tight situation. I guess they're hoping now they can at least hold and get their D-line back out. Powerline will be seeking to finish this game. And in doing so, a very deep pull. Now the disc with Eriksson. He's got themselves into the center of the oh, and Lazo, great defense there, really heads up. So now, Powerline at half, Bieler. Bieler fakes. And goes up and around. Lazo might have time. Oh, almost spiked out of the air there by Eriksson.
Eriksson had a great read on it. Lazo kind of rolls out of the way, make sure nobody gets kicked in the head.
The disc is coming across this side. Just about finds Malin. Then Lane. And Seaborn once more. Seaborn resets to Eriksson. Continues. Oh, but again, very heads-up play there from Powerline. Snagging the disc off MUFAbots. Resets to Bieler. Continues to Schwalb. This is all very good offense from Powerline, keeping the disc moving. Lazo with Bieler. Down the line to Lazo. Doesn't have many options upfield. Bieler keeps going. Now with Dykes. Dykes wants a deep shot, he's got one. Lazo, well defended.
And that was 2-on-1 coverage, so understandable that Lazo would be a great target there, but at the same time, kind of look at the matchups. However, looks like a call back at the disc.
It looks like a foul's been called. Maybe declined now, as the disc has gone back and forth.
A little bit of catch in the middle of the game.
But Peterson will be bringing it back in. And we're in. Peterson, one of the two brothers, gets it to Eriksson. Eriksson going high and around to Seaborn. Bit of give and go. Eriksson and Seaborn. Oh, well held there by Eriksson. He wants a deep shot to Seaborn. You can see him pointing in the end zone there. But eventually he comes under to receive. Oh, and I think the rush of blood to the head there a little.
It was a good look, but the execution probably wasn't exactly what he was looking for there.
It's getting an execution error, I would argue there.
The coach is saying, keep it moving, make it easy. I think that's pretty sage advice. A lot of times, coaches will say, and captains say, take the easiest throw available. Sometimes that's something fancy, but it doesn't have to be.
And now with Eriksson just about from Seaborn. He wants it back with Seaborn and gets that. Continued to Wasserman. Centers to Eriksson. Oh, and a scuba. I haven't seen how many of them, but absolutely batted out of the sky there. I think that was I actually can't tell which number it was, but fantastic D there. Oh, it's Russia once again. Oh, and Bieler just rushes that throw, the wind pushing it down.
So the wind is picking up, but both teams seemingly able to take or wanting to take more risky shots.
An absolutely huge goal there for Wasserman. That was Wasserman from Seaborn. Almost the same as the earlier goal from Hannah. Out of nowhere, and a point where we had many turnovers ended in ecstatic fashion. And here we see that again. Oh, just about kept in.
He does a great job. Knee goes down first, makes that first point of contact, and then slides through to get that score.
And so MUFAbots have taken their half, getting themselves to 8. Now they'll really hope that they can get their first break of the tournament now. Sorry, not the tournament, this game. Against a very strong Powerline, but Powerline, they've been very clinical, apart from that last point, which you could argue is probably both teams maybe a bit of lack of focus, maybe.
And I think from the Powerline side, they're very eager to score, so sometimes you get a little too eager, but at the same time, MUFAbots understands we have to score to keep the game going as well. And as a result, sometimes you don't have all of the right executions.
Let's go, Madison!
So Powerline, with a fantastic break on the inside of that zone. The Hannah sisters running this point so far. Oh, pits it a bit too far though for Brown.
The release point a little bit low.
And Bauer picking up. Doesn't have many options, but does have a reset, almost throwing a Callahan. Back with Bauer. He goes deep. There are two Powerline players there, and Landesman rips it out of the sky. Hannah and Landesman get it moving. Now with... And there goes that huck again. Absolutely perfectly placed to Lauren Hannah, one of the standout Powerline players, and that's the game for San Diego, 15-8.
What a run by Lauren Hannah. And Brown sees as soon as Lauren starts to go to the end zone, she's got steps. And even with the help defense from the MUFAbots player, I will credit the MUFAbots player there. Once he sees that Lauren has great positioning to the disc, he does not make a dangerous bid or a play that would cause any contact, because he knew he couldn't make that play at the disc.
Yeah. And there we have both teams lining up, giving the high fives. And what a game we've seen here, Emmy.
And San Diego Powerline started the game strong, and they never really looked back the entire time. They took half, and then in the second half just kept climbing their lead more and more. MUFAbots showed signs of consistency. They also made big plays. They had several layout Ds. They had some great deep looks as well, but couldn't quite match the depth of the Powerline team. That they started without that much depth and really spread it across to several players.
Here we can see some of the highlights from that second half, that fantastic bid from MUFAbots. Great D all over the field, but I think overall that Powerline offense really outshone the MUFAbots. Mostly when they got turns, but...
Amazing layout grabs. The Hannah sisters showing how strong they are, keeping it in balance when they need to. This has been produced by Fulcrum Media, brought to you by USA Ultimate. David Price and Emmy Fitzgerald, thanks for watching.